taking a peek at the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Acura MDX. In this video, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know. So first thing is that the steering wheel inside of the ride is going to be power telescoping. So down by your left knee, you can easily adjust it this way. You've also got a power driver's seat, so you're going to set that up the way that you'd like to. You can also set up your side view mirror the way that you'd like to. And once you do, you're going to push set in either 1, 2, or 3 in order for it to remember your own personal profile. So very useful to do. Steering wheel inside the ride is also heated. So you've got your heated button along the top left-hand side. But let's dive in. I'll show you what all the different stalks and sticks and buttons mean. So stick along the left-hand side. You've got different options for your lights. You can toggle the lights off completely this way, but I recommend keeping yourself in the auto mode the majority of the time. Now, there is the option of turning on or off auto high beams inside of the infotainment system. So what happens with high beams is that in the auto mode, you can't permanently lock them out. You can flash them no problem, but if you wanted to permanently lock your high beams out, you have to be in the bottom headlamp mode instead. You then push away to turn them on, pull towards you to turn them off. But in the auto mode, it's going to be an auto high beam. So what that means is that if the vehicle recognizes high beams are needed, it's going to turn them on. If somebody's oncoming, it's going to turn them off before turning them right back on again. So it's really straightforward there, really easy to use. You've got your blinkers there. I like the small highlights here. When you go to use the blinker or even the brakes and things like that, it shows you what's actively being used. You can then also turn your fog lamps on or off this way instead. Stick along the right-hand side is going to be for your wipers. So you can adjust out to different wiper speeds. When you're in the intermittent level, you could then use the little rocker in the middle to adjust how fast or slow rain's hitting the windshield. Then you can jump up into any of the other modes instead. So you've got different options available. Along the right-hand side, there's also a stick that you can adjust out, and that's going to be for your rear wiper instead. You could push down this way in order to get that rear wiper fluid going if you'd like to, so very straightforward there. Then you can pull towards you in order to get the front wiper fluid going instead. So very straightforward to use. The MDX also has paddle shifters. So it's minus along the left-hand side with your plus along the right-hand side. Where this comes into play is if you want a little bit of extra speed in order to be able to pass somebody, you could drop down a gear or two in order to increase the RPM for you to launch forward. And then you can push plus in order to increase your gears. You can also use engine braking by hitting the minus button there instead. Now, if you've never used paddle shifters before though, and you're not sure what the heck they actually mean, or you didn't follow what I just said there, check down in the description of this video. I've put together a comprehensive video explaining how paddle shifters work, when you want to use them, etc. Then you've got so many different buttons and options. So I mentioned, you've got the option of turning on the heated steering wheel this way. There's also the option of adjusting your audio. So you can turn the power button this way, so on or off. You're just essentially turning the audio on or off. You've got a volume rocker. You can adjust it this way instead if you'd like to. There's a little roller wheel here, and that's going to give you some different options inside of the head-up display, which I'll show you in a second here, but that's going to let you adjust a few things. You can also adjust this way instead. So if you wanted to jump between all of your available presets for whatever source you're currently on, you'd have that flexibility. You've got a basic menu button here as well, and menu is going to give you some options inside of the head-up display. I'll show you that in a second. And then you've got a voice command prompt. So you'd be able to do things like change songs, radio stations, navigate using your voice. You can adjust your climate using your voice and so many other things. If your phone was hooked up, so if you're hooked up over Bluetooth or Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, a short button push is going to be for your built-in factory assistant. A long button push and hold, though, is going to be the assistant for your phone. So if your phone was connected, you'd be able to either activate your Siri assistant for iPhones or your Google Assistant for Android devices instead. Along the right-hand side, you've got a boatload of different buttons too. So the ones on the outside and the bottom of the wheel here are going to be for the adaptive cruise control system. So the rocker wheel here is going to be for the middle screen, but otherwise it's adaptive cruise. So you can toggle the system on this way. You could then increase or decrease 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time. You can push and hold up in order to get to the nearest 0 kilometers an hour or the nearest 5 or 0 miles per hour. So let's say if you have it set at 47 kilometers an hour, push and hold up, it'll bring you to 50, 60, 70, etc. Push and hold down, it'll bring you to 40, 30. So you've got options there. You can hit the brake to cancel, you can hit there to cancel, and then you could push up in order to resume your previously set speed. There's also a distance indicator, so it's how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you. There are 4 unique levels that are available there, and then if you push and hold the gap adjustment button for 1 to 2 seconds, that's also going to put you into a traditional cruise control instead. And then there's also this one, which is a lane keeping or lane center assist. It's a really cool system. So the MDX does not have full hands-free driving. You do have to keep your hands on the wheel, but if you lose focus for a second with this system enabled, as long as it recognizes the lane markings, if you're going around a bend, it's going to keep you perfectly balanced in your lane, even if your hands are off the steering wheel. After about 10 seconds or so, you do get a little message inside of the screen telling you to put your hands back on the wheel, but it is a really cool system at the same time. But if you want to walk through like a live demonstration on how this works, check down in the description of this video instead. Then you've got options for the cluster screen with so much flexibility inside of the screen itself. So you've got the tachometer along the left-hand side, your digital speedometer, you've got what gear you're currently in, so whether that's park, reverse, drop into neutral versus drive, and then as you have different settings, so you go into your reverse, etc., you'll be able to see different things specifically inside of the infotainment system. So you've got your rear camera there with different options, your surround camera as well, so you can see your full 360 view. So pretty neat from that perspective. And back down into park, you've got your current engine temperature along with your outside temp, your current odometer, what drive mode you're currently in. So there's a selector switch down the middle in order to jump between different drive modes. And you can see here, as you jump between different modes, so the first one is a lift mode, which is literally going to increase the vehicle height if you've got the air suspension system in yours. Snow mode, which is going to play with your traction control and stability control. There's also going to be just a comfort mode, so that's going to be for the best fuel economy. Normal mode is exactly that. There's a sport mode, there's a sport plus mode, and then there's an available individual mode as well. So the individual mode is something that you can adjust through the infotainment system. So if you wanted to tweak out how different settings are, so let's say if you wanted to have your individual mode to change out so that maybe your steering wheel is in comfort mode, but your suspension and throttle response is in sport mode, inside of the infotainment system here, you'd have the flexibility of being able to do it. So you've got that available as an option. But I like inside of the cluster screen how it tweaks out the look just a tiny little bit, depending on which drive mode that you're in. I love the sport mode look though. Oh damn, that looks nice. I typically drive in comfort mode though, just to get the best possible fuel economy. From here, you can see some other systems if they're engaged, yay or nay, your current range with your fuel level there, and then you've also got your screen along the right-hand side that you can adjust using the rocker switch along the right. So your basic one is going to be your trip A versus B counter. So you can move up or down this way, and then some screens also let you go left or right using that same rocker switch. So if you wanted to, you could go left or right this way. So A versus B counter. If you wanted to reset, you're just going to push and hold in the middle there for a few seconds, and that's going to reset your trip counters instead. Inside of the infotainment system, you'd also have the option of selecting certain things for the trip counter. So as a default, it's going to be a manual reset, but you can have it set up so every time you refuel, it defaults to 0. You've also got the flexibility of setting it up so that every time you turn the ignition off and then back on again, it's going to default to 0. So useful if you're using it for a business vehicle. You've also got full map and cluster. So if you had an active route going inside of the infotainment system, it's also going to give you the flexibility of being able to see your turn-by-turn directions right inside of the cluster screen. I mean, I love that. Love that flexibility there. You can jump down into different options here, so you can see your oil life, tire pressure, your vehicle, so which wheel is getting which amount of power. So we're in the all-wheel drive version. So as you go to drive, you'll notice that one wheel might be getting a different amount of power, or typically it's going to be an axle. So either the front or back are going to be using more power. You get your G-force meter, your attention level. So what's going to happen is as you start driving, that's going to start off full. But if you start to veer over into another lane without signaling or other things drifting over, that counter is going to start dropping. And then eventually you're either going to get a steering wheel shake, a loud noise, or a mixture of both. And that's all set up through the infotainment system. You can toggle it off as well, so if you don't want that attention warning if it drives you crazy, but your best bet, just use your blinker. Seatbelts are available there as well, so you can see who's plugged in or not. You've also got just like a basic empty screen. So if you don't like having all the extra stuff, you've got the flexibility of just having a basic screen along the right. And then there's safety information. So you've got a few different options here. So your first one is going to be the road departure mitigation. So if you start to veer over into another lane, it's going to nudge you back into your lane. There's also going to be a collision detection and then low speed brake control. So all of these safety settings, you've got the flexibility to turn them off. I recommend keeping them on, especially this one, because if you start to back up and there's an obstacle behind you that you don't see, it can automatically brake for you. Same thing if you're pulling forward. If there's an obstacle you don't see at low speeds, it can brake for you. But if you've got these systems turned off, you do risk potentially getting into an accident. But I mean, it is nice that you've got the flexibility of toggling them off. The cross traffic alert for the front, if you're pulling out of a space and somebody's coming for the left or the right side, it can let you know of a potential collision. So these ones, I honestly just recommend keeping them all turned on. And then there are some different settings. So if you wanted to adjust out your distance, whether you wanted to be in either miles or kilometers, you've got the flexibility of being able to easily adjust this out instead. From here, you've got the option of adjusting the gauge layout. So do you want it advanced versus more of like a classic look instead? So that one's a matter of preference. I think the advanced one, in my opinion, I think it kind of looks nicer. Audio and clock, you can also show versus hide that information. So you can see there, everything in the left gauge kind of just disappeared. So you've got that available if you don't want all the extra stuff and you wanted to make it a little bit easier for you. So you've got options here. And then you've also got a series of other options. So you can use this one in order to change some things out, but most of it is going to be viewable through the head-up display. Look at that. There we go. So you've got your turn-by-turn directions that are showing up inside of the head-up display right now. And then if we hit the menu icon there, it's going to give us different options. So you can look at your phone, AM, FM, USB. So we're essentially going through all of our different audio sources. You can customize it to show what's showing up inside of the menu. So whether that's AM, FM, Bluetooth. So if you never listen to these, so if you're never going to use Alexa, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you can essentially remove these things from the menu if you wanted to. And then as you hit the back button, you could also show different menu content, which we've already seen. So you've got different options. You can kind of customize this one a tiny little bit, not much, but a little bit. And just down by your left knee, you've got a series of different switches that are available. So if your MDX has the head-up display, you can move the head-up display up or down to make it easier to see. You can also increase or decrease the brightness of the head-up display. One thing that I definitely recommend you do is have maximum brightness, because the screen itself, the head-up display, is non-obtrusive, but if you wear polarized sunglasses, it's a little bit tricky to see if you don't have maximum brightness set. So maximum brightness is definitely the way to go if you actually wanted to be able to easily see the head-up display inside of the ride. This button is going to be a hot button press in order to bring up your safety settings inside of the cluster screen. This is for your front windshield wiper. You can toggle the park sensing system on or off, so that beeping that you get as you get closer to obstacles. This is going to be for traction control, so traction on or off. And then you can increase or decrease the brightness of the cluster screen as well. You've got the electronic parking brake, so you're going to push in order to turn it on. You're going to then hit the brake and pull away in order to turn it off. I know that that is a lot of information, but that's everything that you need to know about the steering wheel buttons as well as the cluster screen inside of the Acura MDX.